Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Breaking news this afternoon from Sport Witness that Man United have intensified contact with Alex Telles. His agent is reportedly in Manchester to complete a move to Old Trafford. That is trending news, both in the mainstream media and across socials. We want your opinions because they count more than anything else. Alex Telles, Sergio Reguilon, these two deals seem to be moving in the same direction according to the media, but I want your thoughts. I want your opinions on this. We will give you a bit of an update on Sergio Reguilon as well. I've had some contact with a journalist based in Sevilla that has tweeted out today as well. Hit the like button for me right about now. It's so important to the Football Terrace that we get this done. I'm not going to go any further until we go past 1,000 likes. So hit it now, right now. Keep going. I want to see them jump up on the live stream. Let's go. Let's go. Shannon here says, why would we sign two left backs? Well, we're probably not. We're going to delve into that. This is the point of the Football Terrace. We discuss the stories. You give your opinions. That's the point. That's literally it. There's no more to it than that. You know, we're not the mainstream media. Alex Telles is a baller, is what a few of you are saying here. Absolutely. Let's delve into the story in a little bit more detail to tell you what's being said. I think that's very, very important to do that. This is what's been said. When Alex Telles very much deserves a big move. Weird way to start the article, but it does. He says the FC Porto player has been repeatedly linked with Premier League clubs such as Leicester, Chelsea, and now Manchester United. In Monday's edition of the publication, it states that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's club have intensified contact to sign the Brazilian left back. Sevilla are also present and keen, but it is made clear that Man United are very much in the front. They go on to explain that the deal is so far down the line that the representatives of Alex Telles are traveling to Manchester. They're already in Manchester with the intent of pushing everything along and concluding the deal. He says this could be good value for Manchester United considering the 27-year-old's contract with Porto expires in 1 year's time. Porto, therefore can't ask for a huge fee. It is likely to be less than £30 million for the player. What is your opinion on this story? This also coincides with a separate situation that's been published, and we actually reached out personally to the journalist about his tweet earlier on today. We'll go through that tweet in a little bit more detail now. This was put out a couple of hours ago, where he said that Sergio Reguilon will not play for Sevilla in the 2021 season. The club are willing to pay 20 million euros to sign the player permanently, but Man United have submitted a bid of 30 million euros for the player and will pay him 5 million euros per year in salary, and they're likely to complete the deal. So two big reports coming from the continent today that United are very close to signing two separate left backs. The likelihood is only one will come in. Only one will come in. Which of the two would you prefer? That's the first thing I want to know from you. Secondly, which of the two stories do you believe in the most? Hit that like button right now. Skype lines are open. You can give us a call. And of course, member chat and super chats always take the priority here. Excuse me. Paul Scholl says, I don't believe anything until Romano says something. And you know what I love about that approach? I love Fabrizio. I trust Fabrizio. I completely get where you're coming from. What I love about that is, though, everybody says that about Fabs. They're like, I only believe it when Fabs says it. But then when Fabs gives out information that they don't like, they disregard it. Keep the same energy is what I say in relation to that. Make sure you're hitting that like and share button. Someone here says, will the agents have to quarantine? I don't know the laws and the rules on that, so I cannot say. We've got Ivan on the line here. Ivan, welcome to the show. Who do you support, my friend?
Hi, Terry. I'm actually a Chelsea fan, a big Chelsea fan since 1998, and you are actually the first show that I'm supporting on YouTube in general as a member. So thank you a lot. I really enjoy your work.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for saying that, sir. It means a great deal to me. What do you make of this story this afternoon about Alex Telles becoming a Manchester United player?
I can tell you that from a Chelsea point of view, I liked a lot Alex Telles, and it was for me a preferable option over Ben Chilwell. But I do respect Frank Lampard's opinion and his wishes and the style of football, which is super, super important.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think Alex Telles is a player that I know a lot of Chelsea fans wanted. He was the name that came up a lot on our shows. I think for me, based on what I've heard about both players, I would prefer Alex Telles to Reguilon. However, with Reguilon, you get a 23-year-old, not a 27-year-old. So maybe there's a little bit more life in his legs.
Terry, you see, the thing is that me as a Chelsea fan, I would like you to get Reguilon instead of Alex Telles. I will tell you why. Alex Telles is going to give you a different dimension in an attack. Rashford is going to connect much better with Alex Telles on the left side than actually with Reguilon. Reguilon, you're going to still have the same type of player as Luke Shaw, a bit better offensively, to be fair. Because Reguilon is a type of a guy that is not as offensive, as fluid as Alex Telles, and he's not that mature.
Okay, so again, that's great to hear because you've watched my show, as you say, you'll know that I don't ever profess to be some connoisseur of European football. I never pretend that I know more about players on the continent than I do, unless I've seen them play. As an example, I haven't seen much of either of these individuals. I can only go by what I read and what I'm told. So, in your opinion, Alex Telles should be the guy that Man United sign?
I would feel bad as a Chelsea fan, but this is going to be the right signing for Man United. And I think there the option comes from Oli, where you're going to see a lot Luke Shaw as the third center back on the left side, meaning for me, I watch a lot of football, yeah, and I actually track a lot of football, and I love football in general. Like that's my main hobby, basically, to see, to check tactics, etc., etc. And you're gonna see a lot of if Alex Telles comes, you're gonna see Telles going very high up the pitch on the left side, letting Rashford go in, cut in on the inside. Luke Shaw will cover that left flank basically on the back, meaning transforming for a 5-3-2-1. I think you're gonna play into basically 4 something. Yeah,
I hear that, bro. Listen,
something.
Ivan, thank you very much for coming on the show, giving us your views and opinions.
Yeah, thanks.
Excellent education for us. Thank you very much, my friend. If anybody else wants to call, you know what the Skype details are. Please dial in now. Next on the show, we have HSK88. HSK, what you saying, bro? Can't hear what you're saying there, bro. You have to call back with a better line. Next up, Man Like Kai is with us. What you saying, bro? Hello, Kai. You there, mate?
Yeah. I'm here. I didn't hear you.
Alex Telles or Sergio Reguilon? Which of the stories do you believe, and which of the two players would you choose?
Hey, if you sign one of them, can you trade us for Chilwell?
No, but yeah,
I love them both. For me, they're both the ideal left back. You know, they're aggressive, they're strong, they're fast. They're good crossers of the ball. I'm jealous if you sign one of them. But when it comes down to it, I would prefer Telles than Reguilon. And let me tell you why, right? Like Reguilon, yeah, he's good, but he's still young, right? Like you already have Shaw, who's just a little bit young, right? Telles can offer you that experience because he's a really good crosser. I think he can get the best out of your attacking players as well. And you don't want to be in the same situation where Chelsea is now, where you have Chilwell or you have Reguilon, right? When you don't know where he's going to be next season, right? It could be a one-season wonder, but Telles has proved it in a more consistent basis, if that makes sense.
Yeah, look, again, I'm open to listening to people that have watched these individuals play on a regular basis. I'm never going to profess to have seen them. You know, of course, I have seen them both play games, but in terms of regularity, no. Alex Telles does appear statistically and through word of mouth and what I've read about the two to be the more accomplished player, but that's also to be expected at 27 years of age versus 23 years of age. I get a lot of United fans have this weird notion of not wanting to sign players at 27 years old or above. However, I sort of feel like Alex Telles has got 5 years in him. 5 years is a long time, and I think we need a bit of experience at Manchester United. So if I was to personally pick between the two individuals, my head is siding more with Alex Telles. However, there are some people that think the Alex Telles news is being leaked just to push the Sergio Reguilon deal forward, which I find an interesting theory because as far as the credibles have reported, the Jans, Fabs, and Christians, United have been offered Sergio Reguilon, but it's the ball's in our court. So I'm not too sure where the notion is to speed it forward. The journalists coming out of Seville are saying that Sevilla have now given up on signing him. They believe he's going to Manchester United. So I still, if I was to put my hand on my heart and say which one do I think will happen of these two, I would still side with Sergio Reguilon. That would be my personal thought and feeling in relation to it. But if either one comes in, I think it improves our squad and our team
Yeah, I think they're both
massively.
better than Shaw, to be honest with you. I think they're better with Shaw. They have more pace than Shaw, I think, and also the way that they play, the way they interchange is better than what Shaw has at the moment. I don't know if Shaw's going to improve, but as from what I've seen from them and from what I've seen from Shaw, I think they're more complete left backs.
No, I agree. I agree. I think, look, Luke, we spoke about Shaw quite a bit in the last few days on the channel, and I don't like to attack him too much. My biggest problem with Luke Shaw is the same thing that I've always had a problem with. I believe he's how do I say this without sounding too disrespectful? I don't believe he keeps himself in good enough shape at the highest level of the game, and I always have a problem with a football player who doesn't keep themselves in tip-top shape physically moving forward, especially in this modern day world where it's so much easier than it used to be. These two players can come in and improve the squad. They can improve the first team. And as you say, the prices they're being quoted at, sort of 22, 23 million euros or pounds, it is very cheap in this market. You look at Ben Chilwell, that I think is very good. That's costing 50 million. To be able to save sort of 20, 30 million on that type of price, I think is absolutely massive. We've added Ram to the stream. Yeah, absolutely. We've added Ram to the stream. Ram, what do you make of this rumor this afternoon that Alex Telles' agent is in the UK? Do you believe it first and foremost? Secondly, how good a signing would it be for Manchester United?
Yeah, I definitely believe the rumors. I mean, you guys have been scouting him for about, I don't know how long, about 2 or 3 years. Whether he's a good player, yeah, there's no doubt he's a good player, but it's really dependent on what you want as a left back. Because I mean, as a question to you, Terry, what do you want from your left back if you're going to sign someone?
I want them to be better than Luke Shaw.
But in terms, would you want them to be more attacking minded, or
both? So, like I said yesterday, with Sergio Reguilon, I'm not looking at that signing as being somebody. It improves our squad because he's statistically. I can't judge him on how he looks because I've never seen him play. Statistically, he appears the same defensively, visually. I have to mute that dude. Whoever that guy is, I just added to the stream. I want you to speak, but I can't have you making noises down the phone like that, bro. So defensively, it appears to be about the same in terms of footage that I've seen statistically. Going forward, he's marginally better in attacking. But if you were to make me put my hand on my heart and say, what do you want at left back? I want somebody that's better than Luke Shaw defensively, and I want somebody that's better in attack. And if you can get both of those things, then it's worth spending the money on. Alex Telles, when you look at him statistically, going forward and in defense, is better. Now, I don't have an eye test assessment because I have not seen either of these two players play on a regular basis. So it would be highly hypocritical of me to give that opinion. I'm basing it on what I've read. So when I read scout reports about Alex Telles, for me, what people say about him outstrips that of Luke Shaw. I then compare that with their statistical outputs. And again, I would go with Alex Telles. So as I said, as an overview, if somebody come to me and said, what do you want as an improvement? You need to be as good, if not better defensively than Luke Shaw. And you need to be able to outstrip him. And if we can pick that up for 22, 23 million pounds, when you consider we dropped 27 million on Luke Shaw 6 years ago, that for me would represent amazing business and a brilliant improvement for Manchester United Football Club.
They're both very complete fullbacks. I don't understand what Ram is talking about. They're both very, very complete fullbacks. They're both good going forwards and defending.
I've seen Alex Telles play. I've seen him a couple of times.
He's better than the guy you bought. Much better.
Well, yeah, because the guy that we bought is a second choice. And if you're going to say he's better than Andrew Robertson, then you're absolutely crazy. But as I was saying, when I've seen him play, and especially which gave me a little bit of concern was against Rangers, is that he can be caught out quite a bit. So if I was a United fan, I think I would go for more of a Sergio Reguilon because he has shown to like cope with himself on his own on the left hand side compared to Alex Telles. But I think that doesn't take away the fact that Alex Telles is still a quality player. But for me, if you're a United fan, I think you should lean towards a Sergio Reguilon compared to Alex Telles.
That makes. I mean, let me go to Malik's comment here. Malik with a super chat says, "Terry, I'm not sure if you remember me, but I mentioned Alex Telles the other day. His experience and attacking wise, he delivers. That's his viewpoint and opinion. We're going to add Born Red to the stream as well. Wait for Born Red to come in. But yeah, from your point, Kai, what did you make of what Ram just said there? Before you answer, please smash the like button, please, ladies and gentlemen. What did you make of the comments there from Ram?
I think he's wrong. I think he's wrong completely. Telles can just because he had one bad game, that doesn't mean anything. If you watch him play, watch his games in the Champions League. He's a really good, accomplished player, and he's only 27 years of age. People act like he's not an attacker. He's a defender. Defenders can play until they're 33, 34. I think he's a good acquisition.
I mean, the games that I've seen him play, I've seen him play 4 times against Liverpool where we rinsed him about tons of times, and Rangers as well. And for me, Rangers are levels below Manchester United or any of the top 6 Premier League teams.
I suppose the one thing I would say about it, and this is just me being objective because I didn't watch the games. I'm just trying to be objective here. When you play with marauding attacking fullbacks, those are the areas of the pitches that tend to get exploited by other teams, because if they're attacking forward and the ball's turned over, then the ball can be used there. My point of view is he good at crossing and creating? Is he good at getting the balls into the box? Because are Man United going to be exposed as regularly as Rangers get exposed or Porto? No, because we've got a better overall team around the player. So that's why it's hard to often judge the player based on that. And I think you need to look at it on a broader context, really and truly. That would be my opinion on these things. But there we go. In relation to that, I'm actually something that keeps going on at me every time I go live. Something keeps happening. It's making me laugh. It's genuinely making me laugh. Triggered. Thank you very much to Angelos for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. It makes a great deal. Born Red's now with us. Born Red, what do you want to say, my bro?
So Terry, I actually think Reguilon is a better player than Alex Telles, and the reason I think that is because I think firstly Reguilon is younger than Telles by 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I watched him against Man United and I thought he was very good, especially attacking. I love the way he was crossing the ball. He was very similar to Robertson. And plus, Telles, in the past, he's went abroad to Turkey.
Hello? Oh, he muted himself. Someone came in his room then. Yep. Someone came in his room. By the way, smash the like button, please, ladies and gentlemen. Really need your support on the channel right now. I know another channel's just gone live at the same time, but we need help. Go on, Born Red. Keep going for it, bro.
Sorry about that. So Alex Telles 2 times has been abroad, Turkey and Italy, and he didn't have the best times there. He was sold both times. He had 2 seasons at Turkey. I checked it a bit before right now. And he got sold, and at Inter Milan, the same thing, and he went back to Porto and he's been performing for 4 years. So I actually think Reguilon, he's proved himself at Sevilla. He's good, I think, attacking especially. And I think for Man United right now, it's better to have a attacking fullback, because I feel like the important games, the games against the lower teams, to get a title challenge. And I think Reguilon will be the better choice for United, really.
So look, I suppose my way of looking at this is this, and I mean it with respect when I say this. Bruno Fernandes, went to Italy before going to Sporting Lisbon and didn't sort of tear the world apart. You look at Mo Salah at Liverpool, what he did when he was first. If Liverpool based their signing of Mo Salah on what he did at Chelsea, they wouldn't have signed him. I think that sometimes if you look at what Sadio Mane did when he played for Salzburg, was it kind of ripping the world apart and everybody in the world speaking about him? My response would be no. I think it's about looking at the player now, what they've developed into. It's an interesting one because I'm here breaking down the statistics of these players over the last 5 years. And this is statistical. This is an eye test, which I completely and utterly understand is important to people as well. But I just want to go through this now because I think it's important to look at this from some of the most important elements of a player in terms of the modern day fullback. And we'll review it as a modern day fullback because everybody kind of cares about these types of things, right? So if we go over the last, hang on a second. That has to be, why is that one different? Do excuse me. I'm just trying to, there seems to be a statistic missing and I don't understand where it's gone. Okay, no, there it is. I got it. Right. So if we look at these three players over the last 5 years, Luke Shaw has won 58% of his defensive duels. Sergio Reguilon, 59%. Tellus, 62%. So as a general rule, their defensive duels on average, they're winning about the same. Interceptions, they all range from 4.6 to 5.2 interceptions per game, which for me is pretty much of a muchness. Does that make sense, right? This is where it changes. Chances created in that same 5 years. 103 chances created in 5 years from Luke Shaw. 138 chances created from Sergio Reguilon. Now, he gets a bit more of a pass than that, Sergio, because 5 years ago he was 18. So he wouldn't have been playing as regularly as the other two, okay, as an example. However, in that time, 456 chances created by Alex Tellus. If we look at it from an assist point of view, 10 assists for Luke Shaw, 11 for Sergio Reguilon, 51 for Tellus. We look at it at goals, just 2 goals for Luke Shaw, 13 for Sergio Reguilon, 24 for Alex Tellus. So from my point of view, when I look at it statistically at those players and not just the eye test, which I don't have an eye test because I haven't watched them play regularly enough. For me, defensively, Alex Tellus is better than both of them in terms of his defensive duels. But on chances created in the last 5 years, he's almost got he's got over 4 times as many. For me, that's a massive, massive difference. Monstar now joins us live. Monstar, what are you saying, bro?
I agree when they say that Alex Tellez, because he was my first choice for left back at Chelsea. I agree. He looks better than. I think he's better than what's his name, Reguilon. His assist and goal rate is crazy. If you look at his statistics, it's crazy. So if you want that type of fullback that's going to bomb forward and backwards, he's perfect. He's the perfect guy.
No, but defensively he's very good too. I think he's people are extremely underrating him. I think he can defend crosses well. Player. His anticipations are very good. Terry, like I told you, I always talk to you with stuff objectively. I don't give a fuck about these people subjectively saying, "Oh, Reguilon is this, Reguilon is this." Objectively, looking at stats, Tellus is better than all of them, and you've seen it yourself.
Yeah, he's a baller, man.
But I think that Reguilon
doesn't matter
has a high
what you think,
potential
though. Look at the stats. Look at the stats.
Look. Reguilon has a better potential than Tellus, in my opinion. That's what I like. I watched him, and I think he's a very good player. Like the way he was playing against Man United as well. I think there's a lot of ways to improve Reguilon. He was very good defensively against Man United as well. Tellus, I do think he has faults defensively because I watched him against Liverpool. We were absolutely like ripping him apart in that match. I don't know if it was just a one-off. But
see, this is the thing. This is the thing. You're comparing the quality of Liverpool versus the overall quality of Porto. So I'm looking at Alex Tellez as the individual. I've seen games before. Like I've seen Man United lose 3-0, but I've seen David De Gea have an amazing game. The fact is that our team got ripped apart so badly that we ended up conceding goals, but the goalie was still pulling off worldies every 5 minutes. Alex Tellez doesn't have to have a bad game. Like Alex Tellez hasn't had a bad game just because his team have conceded goals or because you exploit the space that he leaves by going forward. He's told to go forward. If he's leaving space open and it's against the tactics of his team, then you can criticize it, but it isn't. Him and Alex Tellez in a Man United team, we're not going to get exposed at the back as regularly because we're not going to be we don't get exposed at the back that much. Now remember, look how many goals United actually conceded from open play last season in the Premier League. Barely any. And we did attack that with our fullbacks. The problem is we just didn't create anything at the end of it. If you put Alex Tellez in over Luke Shaw, we create on average an extra 2 or 3 goal scoring opportunities per game. That could be the difference between scraping third and securing third easy, maybe pushing into second, maybe moving towards title challenges. It gives us a different outlet. It really does. And we all know Luke Shaw, injury problems are his biggest problem, but he doesn't create enough. To only create 103 chances in 5 years of football, that's terrible. That is terrible.
And Terry, the thing for Man United, even if they sign Reguilon or Tellus, this is a big signing, either if it's either of them, because Man United have Wan-Bissaka at the right back position, Luke Shaw. Both of them is not the greatest creatively. If you get any of these two in, all of a sudden your team becomes way more dangerous and you have a different dimension to the team. And I feel like that third spot is just guaranteed if you make the signing. It's a very big signing. I think it could be Man United's biggest signing this season. Like, people might see it as a, just a normal signing, but I think it's going to be a very good signing.
No,
They're both great signings. To me, either or, they're good
100%.
signings. They will improve that left back position either way.
No, I agree. And again, I don't want to split. I was saying this yesterday. Like, I don't want to, and early in this stream, I'm more excited about Alex Telles than I am Reguilon, but I'm happy about both. They both improve our team. As I've said, man's 23, Sergio Reguilon, and has played less games in the last 5 years than Luke Shaw, because he, 18, 19, 20, he was a bit part player, right? He's played a handful of games in comparison, and he still created 38 more chances, which tells me, if you look at it, chances created sort of per game, well, I can actually just go and look at that. That's probably the easiest statistic to look at in the two. And I think defensively, they're much of a muchness. Like I've said, Luke Shaw's defensive capabilities don't really get questioned that often. Now, marauding fullbacks always get caught out. This is something we all know watching football, but it's United need more going forward. And do you know what? Can you get away with Wan-Bissaka not creating as much if you've got someone on the other side doing it? I think so. But in terms of chances created, Sergio Reguilon averages 1.4 per game as an example over the last 5 years. If we look at Luke Shaw, we'll just grab these statistics here. And this is reviewing the player at the level, all professional levels. This looks at. This doesn't look at youth level or anything like that at all. He averages 0.6 per game. So you're talking about a player that almost doubles Luke Shaw's output of creating chances per game at 23. So you imagine him in another 2 or 3 years of development. If he could maybe push that to 120%, 130% more, suddenly you're looking at a guy creating 2 chances per game versus somebody that takes 2 games to create 2 chances. Man United's team has changed instantly. Plus, you're adding Van de Beek, maybe Sancho into that mix as well. For me, it's an absolute no-brainer, to get one of these 2 deals done. And at the moment, like, whoever we bring in is going to improve us. I don't think there's any doubt about that whatsoever. Monster, from your point of view, which of the 2 stories do you think is the most genuine? Or do you think United are looking at both and then we'll make a decision on which one they want?
I think United are looking at both. What I think is happening is both players' agents are trying to get them to the club, and United are probably going to choose the best between the 2. So, yeah.
Sorry, I just got a weird message from somebody. I read it. No, I agree. I think there's an element of truth in both. I think that both want to be at the club. Both are pushing hard for it. I mean, you're not going to. The thing is, you can't sign both because there isn't either of these guys that come in for me are coming in to be first team players. I'm going to keep the same energy that I push towards the likes of Chelsea and everything else. You can't sign. Chelsea can't sign Declan Rice and Havertz and expect them, once they've settled, to be. They're not going to be bit part players. They're coming in to be first teamers. If you sign Reguilon, if you sign Alex Telles, they're coming in to be the main left back. They're not coming in to play back up to Luke Shaw, in my opinion. And if they do a good job, what will happen next summer or January is Luke Shaw will go and Williams will stay and develop that. And that's the one reason where Alex Telles might be great, because I think Williams being the backup for 2 or 3 years until he's older could be perfect. And then when Alex Telles reaches sort of 29, 30, I think you could be in a much better sort of situation in relation to that. So, this is the issue with Luke Shaw. I keep hearing people say, "Oh yeah, Luke Shaw was good before this injury and that injury," but it's like that every single season. I think at some point you've got to move on, because it's like it just keeps reoccurring. Do you know what I mean? When is it going to stop?
The Mark Goldbridge agenda,
He's always injured, man. He's always injured.
Well, someone yesterday said to me that someone tweeted me saying he doesn't have a bad injury record. I'm like, bro, he's missed almost 50% of his of available games for Man United since he's been here. That's half the. Imagine that. That equates to half the season he's not available. I know that on an average, I know a big year of that was the leg break. So that still happens still. It did still happen that, he's missed half the available games. And for me, what United need to try and build up. Someone said to me the other day, like, one of the reasons I wasn't keen on Gareth Bale in recent years is because of the injury record. One of the little caveats to signing Thiago is that he has a bad injury record. Even when we signed Robin van Persie, I remember thinking, oh, what if he gets injured? And by the way, Robin van Persie, his first season with us, I think he missed a couple of games of injury. After that, he started missing quite a lot of games again, And Van Persie was at his peak for 2 years in the Premier League when he had 2 seasons where he didn't get injured. Before and after that, it was stop-start because of injury. And you need, as best you can, what you need are players that are available 85 to 90% of the time that they're at your football club. One, their progression is there. And two, it breeds continuity. It's where Liverpool have been so successful. Barring Alisson missing a big proportion of the season, and they did have Fabinho out for a little while, the majority of their core has stayed fit for 2 or 3 years now. Man United are a team who I look at over the last 7-8 years. We've just had injury problem after injury problem after injury problem. And for me, that's something that needs to be addressed and changed, really.
Yeah. So, and also, no one really talks about Alex Tellers' set pieces as well. His set pieces are amazing, from corners, free kicks.
Yeah, but we know Rashford's going to be taking free kicks.
Well, Rashford, but this is the thing. You've got Rashford. When Man United, there was a time where United had Ronaldo. They had Owen Hargreaves that could take a free kick in a corner. They had Ryan Giggs in that team that could take a free kick, and Rooney that could do it. You're deep in that area. Man United right now, Rashford's free kicks, he scored a couple. But for me, I want to see the man score in a couple of seasons. By the way, you're not expected to score loads. I think the most amount of free kicks ever scored, direct free kicks scored in the season in the Premier League is 4 by one individual. So everyone that thinks should be scoring 6, 7, 8, you're idiots. You're talking about like the Jorginho, the Jorginhos, the Beckhams of this world that were specialists. Juninho. Like, these guys were specialists, and I don't think they ever scored more than 3 or 4 in a season. So I don't expect someone to be scoring loads of them, but to have 3 or 4 players in your team that can do it. You have a game where Bruno Fernandes, his crosses ain't coming off. Bruno Fernandes, it's not quite working for him. So you can go to Tellus, you can cross. I don't want to go back to the days where we've got people like Phil Jones taking free kicks and corners. Like, that shows how bad it got here. So it's all positive news for me today. And I think we're really gearing up. Mark Goldberry said it earlier today, and he's right. We are now gearing up. I think Man United are for a really explosive week. And I'm not talking about a man like Mason having a little party in his boudoir. Big up, man, for that. And I say that because he's a young, he's a young guy. He's a young guy. You can call it a mistake, but how many thousands of young people did what he did this weekend, and they're being left alone? Allow the guy to make mistakes. If you want to call it a mistake, doesn't need to be chastised. Him and Phil Foden, leave him alone. And we don't even know if it's true, by the way. Like, this is the Daily Mail that have reported it. the arbitrators of truth, as it were. I swear they were the ones that hacked Wayne Rooney's phone. But there we go. That's another conversation for another day. But yeah, it does appear that this week it's last couple of weeks it's been Chelsea seem to be leading the conversations on transfers. Now, I know that Thomas Partey has reportedly liked a tweet saying that he's joining Arsenal soon, but there we go. A lot of Liverpool fans going, it's a disgrace what those young boys have done. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
They're young men. Let them live, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure. It's a stupid thing what happens when you're young, man. Let them make their mistakes.
But what's so stupid about it? Like, they're young men. I'm sure there's Liverpool players doing the same thing. We just might not hear about it, or they didn't get caught.
Don't know about it.
Yeah, the point you make there, didn't get caught, is a big part of this. Do you know what's interesting here? Comment here. This just shows how people's minds, they can't think. Terry comparing 5-year stats is not relevant because Luke Shaw didn't play a lot during that time as he was injured. Compare the last 2 years and Shaw is brilliant. Well, one, you're discounting the fact that he's out injured a lot. Right? Yeah. That in itself is the reason why his stats are low, and I don't think his injury record is going to improve. So it's relative to the situation.
Terry, there's one thing. If this guy thinks that Luke Shaw has been brilliant, why are you guys looking for a left back then?
Exactly.
To be fair to Luke Shaw, he's actually a good defender. It's just like he's not the best going attack.
But what doesn't make sense? I just looked at the guys.
Always injured.
But chances created chances created in the 2018-19 season, he averaged 0.83 per game. So he was 0.05. 0.05 better than those other years when he was injured. This season just gone, 0.99. So he's still creating less than 1 per game.
Less than 1.
Still less than 1 per game. But if we look, let's forget Tellus, because we know Tellus is going to outstrip him in terms of that. Let's go back to Reguilon and just look at him in this past one season. And so just use this guy's logic here and just look at individual seasons. This last season just gone. So current this season, if you look at what he's done in the Europa League and the National League for his country, he's averaging 1.6. If we go back to last season, 1.87. So again, almost double. 2 years younger. So even on your logic, bro, he's still being outstripped by Luke Shaw. And if we look at Alex Telles in that time, okay, so if we look at it in the area that you want us to focus on because you want us to discount and pretend that the injuries didn't happen, right? Which is weird because they did. They're real. Alex Telles last season, from an attacking point of view, was creating nearly 2 per game. Season before that, over 2 per game. So both of them in that same time period have almost doubled, and in Alex Telles' case, doubled the creative outputs of Luke Shaw. Get out of that one, Perry. Jeez, I don't know why people do this. It's like they try and manipulate things. Hang on, he's come back. Terry, I've got nothing against you in your opinion. My opinion is that in the 5 years Luke Shaw has played under LVG and Jose Mourinho and the average position of Luke Shaw, I'm not really interested in that, bro. Because for me, I don't allow Chelsea fans to use that excuse to defend Hazard. Oh, we had a negative manager here. This manager was toxic. And no, Luke Shaw could still have got these crosses into the box. He's been in the positions. It's Luke Shaw's failure to deliver.
And the thing is, right, you had 2 target men at that time as well. You got Lukaku, well, more than that, you got Lukaku, Ibrahimovic, Van Persie, you got Falcao at the time. Like, you had 2 target men that you could whip the ball into.
Go on, Monster.
Terry, I would like to call out Claude. I would like to call out, there was a guy that Ram spoke to one time on your show. And these guys said Hazard needs to get out of Chelsea and go to Real Madrid, and he will be such a greater player.
It was Ali. Blah, blah. It was that guy that talked about Haaland.
Having something or whatever his name is. I can't remember what his name. Have something or whatever. Look at Hazard now. He's gone to such a greater club now, and look at him, innit? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
They were just talking nonsense.
Yeah, it was all excuse. So on that guy's point, let me just put this out. So this is crosses. So per game, Alex Telles from what they call patterns of plays in a position to cross on average 6 times per game, attempts 4.7 crosses per game with a 36% accuracy rate. So they reach a player, okay? Luke Shaw has the opportunity to cross 5.8 times per game across that 5-year period, right? It's an average. It doesn't matter if he's missed games, it's an average. But only attempts the cross or gets the cross in. So this is the cross happening, like it doesn't get blocked or he doesn't end up being closed down just to pass it to somebody else on 2.7 occasions, but then only has a 26% accuracy rate. So they're almost in the same 0.2 difference in a bit in terms of opportunity to cross. But yet Luke Shaw only manages to get off just over 2 of those crosses, where Alex Telles manages to get in nearly 5 of those crosses. And even then, his accuracy rate in terms of the amount of them that find a player or reach the right area is nearly 10% better. So it's a factual fallacy that he doesn't get in the positions to be able to make these crosses and attempt these crosses. He's there. It's just that he doesn't think quick enough. He doesn't cross early enough, doesn't make the right decisions. And even when he does, the accuracy of his crossing isn't as good. In every which way, he isn't a good enough attacker. We can give him excuses of injuries. We can blame other managers. But the statistical and factual evidence doesn't back it up. Doesn't back it up at all.
Terry,
if he's injured, that's his fault. You know what I mean?
Terry, with all these signings that Man United is making, Van de Beek and maybe Telles and Reguilon, do they still have enough money for Sancho?
Yes.
I don't think you guys will get Sancho this season.
The reason we have enough money, boys, you've got to understand and start listening. And we're going to have Kieran Maguire on the show tonight. You know, have you seen the big thing by Swiss Rambles talking about Liverpool's financial breakdown? He's coming on the show to put that into layman's terms for us and to explain the money Liverpool do and don't have, why they are or are not spending. There's a big section in that thread that speaks about how transfers are paid for and how clubs write off the valuation of a player's transfer via amortization over the lifetime of that contract. So from an accounting point of view, Man United don't need to spend £108 million this year. And it's about the accounting opposed to anything else. It will be paid off gradually over a 5 to 6 year period. So this notion of United, this summer, Chelsea have spent 220 odd million pounds. They haven't physically given 222 million pounds out to clubs. No. They're probably going to part in total with about 50, 60, 70 million in total. Correct. That's how much cash is actually left. So we have the money. And in that time period, United's revenues are going to grow and are going to increase. And when you break down that Liverpool tweet about their finances, it shows that most of Liverpool's profits have come from player sales, which is why net spend is a nonsense, because United don't need to sell players to raise their net friends. So that's why when you look at net spend as only transfers in, transfers out, it's a fallacy, because you're discounting the fact that some clubs don't need to sell players to raise funds, as an example. So it means your net spend on transfers is higher, but your genuine real life net spend is a lot lower than other clubs. And that's the point. It's people don't like to look at it for what it really is. But Kieran Maguire is going to be on later on today to answer any questions you all have about the financial elements around the game. So he's going to break down that tweet, and then we're going to open it up. And then on Thursday, we're going to have Dr. Rob on the show, who's going to break down Chelsea spending to us in relation to how, what, and why it's been affordable, how it could be done, how they spent so much money. He's going to come on and break that down. So we're going to have two financial experts on this week to break that down with more detail. We've added eye test to the show. Eye test, which of the two, Alex Telles or Sergio Reguilon, which of the two would you prefer?
Actually, I came on here to defend Luke Shaw because I believe.
Man.
Listen.
Answer the question, man. Why?
No, leave him. Let him talk.
I think Luke Shaw, if we get the best out of him, he's better than both. Because I remember, a lot of people forget Luke Shaw before the injury. Luke Shaw before that long-term injury was a monster. On the Louis van Gaal, that run he had just before the injury, that was unbelievable at Southampton.
Ali,
I swear,
hold on.
Hang on,
Hold on.
Hang on, wait.
Right, go on.
Do you? Wait. Wait. Stop. Do you think Luke Shaw has the mental capacity? Because from what we've seen, his mentality, like his diets, when we've seen him, he's grown a little bit of a dad bod, like as Terry mentioned in the last couple of years. Do you think he has the mentality to go back to that standard? Because personally, for me, from the performances that I've seen from him post the injury, where he had a ton of time to hit back to his very best, I don't think he has that mentality to go back to his best that we've seen from Southampton and the early days at Manchester United.
Yeah, eye test. Wait. Let me eye test. You keep saying, you see, the thing everyone keeps saying is before the injury. The problem is the injury keeps occurring. That is the problem. So every time you say before the injury, it debunks your argument, because he's always freaking injured.
And plus, Shaw was never as good as Telles anyways. He's never been as good as Telles is right now.
And the thing is, what I would say about the injury is this as well. The injury did, if we take away all the other injuries, the leg break did happen. And it's unfortunate. I feel sorry for him. The start of that season, Luke Shaw looked amazing. And maybe he would have gone on from strength to strength to strength to strength. But it happened. It's real. I've seen, I've got a friend from school whose brother was an Olympian called Dean Macy. He was a decathlete. This guy won medals at World Championships, won medals at Commonwealth Games. I don't think he ever got a medal at an Olympics. He would have done, though, if his body wasn't always breaking down and getting injured. But his body did break down and get injured. Michael Owen would have broken England's goal scoring record if his body hadn't broken down and got injured. I look at Harry Kane. Harry Kane is one of the best goal scorers this country's ever had. But his body's in bits, really. I think he's one more major injury away, and you'll see a massive decline in him. If he gets one more big injury and then doesn't break Shearer's record and doesn't break Rooney's England record, it happened. In terms of he didn't break it still. There's always an excuse. It's like me saying I could have been the best player in the world if I happened to be good enough at football, but I ain't. Luke Shaw could have been the best left back in the country if he didn't break his leg, if he didn't always have injuries, but he gets them.
It's a bit similar to Alan Shearer his latter years at Newcastle, where he kept on getting injury after injury after injury, and then the point I'm making is whether or not we can throw excuses in injuries. But this manager, but this, but that, but the other. But these things have happened and they hinder him. We've added Daniel to the line. Danny from Devil in the Details. What you saying, bro?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to obviously we spoke about Luke Shaw for quite some time on the United show last night. You know what it is? Luke Shaw's been at Man United for 6 years, man. 6 years. at this point. I defended his ability to defend yesterday, but as an attacking player, what was it? Eye test talking about what a beast he was and the things that he was doing. You don't even see that anymore. He's not explosive with the ball no more, and because he kept getting injured, he wasn't able to develop his interplay and his crossing and his final ball. So 6 years in, and the advanced level stuff that you need from an attacking fullback, he hasn't had a chance to develop. And what he had naturally as a teenager, carrying the ball with speed, we don't really see that no more either. So again, I'm not going to slander Luke Shaw, but we need a better attacking left back. And again, from what I know, whether it's Tellers or Reguilon, however you pronounce his name, forgive me, I haven't seen either of these guys defend, and I suspect neither one of them are, as good defensively as Luke Shaw. So the point that I was making to JV, who's very, very anti Luke Shaw, is Luke Shaw's defensive ability still has value to Manchester United. Even if we sign a new left back, there'll still be a place for him, but you can rotate. There'll be big matches when Luke Shaw will have to come in. There'll be injuries, Luke Shaw will have to come in. So we still have merit for Man United, but the fact that he's Manchester United's number one choice and his competition as a teenager who's really a right back is really just, if you're looking at the squad as a whole, I think sad state of affairs for Manchester United as a club to be in that position, in the fullback position. 6 years and we haven't signed another left back other than Luke Shaw. City, I think, in the space of 18 months, spent 200 million on 4 fullbacks. Like the position.
And I think one thing you say is this: that we will see what Luke Shaw's made of when if say it's Alex Tellers, and we know the quality of this lad. If he comes in, then we'll see what Luke Shaw's made of. I've said it before about people. We'll see how good that Rashford's going to be tested over the next 2 years if Sancho comes in, because we know Greenwood's going to develop. We know how good Martial is. We know how good Sancho is. Can Rashford step up to that plate? Let's see this year. Let's see how Pogba and Bruno act and behave with the competition coming in from Van der Beek. I want these people to rise to the top, make them better. If they fall from the wayside and it damages them, and that's the one criticism I kind of have of Martial, in the sense of a lot of these fanboys say this, and it is maybe on him, it's more of his fanboys. Oh, it's not fair on him. He doesn't like the competition. Well, if he doesn't, if he can't stand the heat in the kitchen, get out. And I think that for me is also very, very important. We've added David to the stream. David, what's your take on this, bro? I know you were somebody that mentioned Alex Tellers a lot when Chelsea were looking at left backs. What if Man United sign him?
If you guys need an attacking left back, then he's perfect. Literally, like guy attacking wise is fantastic. Defensive wise, I'm not really sure. It can be a bit suspect sometimes, especially when he's playing in a league that's quite weak. But I think both of these left backs are better than what you have. So either one is an improvement.
No doubt.
Better attacking left back, not better fullbacks overall.
Well, better attacking fullback. I'd probably argue they might be better fullbacks in general, but
we'll soon see, won't we? What what will happen with the Man United fan base? Once one of them's caught out of position once, and the area gets exposed defensively, which by the way happens to every single fullback 4, 5, 6 times a year minimum. It probably, in terms of leading to goals, if they're attacking, that'll be see, told you. What's also really interesting, a lot of people that don't like Luke Shaw. This is what I love about the United fan base right now. They're because of their agenda, they're in bits. A lot of the people that I see that don't like Luke Shaw are the avid sort of Pogba, Martial fans. And equally, they don't like Ollie as a general rule, right? So this is another one of those things where they're caught between a rock and a hard place. It's like the manager they think doesn't know what he's doing as a PE teacher is agreeing, in a sense, with their opinion that we need a better left back. So they're in a position where they're like, I want another left back. But if I endorse this move, it means I'm endorsing a manager that I don't think is any good. And that's what happens when you have an agenda. You tie yourselves in knots. I see it on socials. A lot of the people that I see always on Ollie's back and also always on Luke Shaw's back, they're almost silent on this matter now because they're like, God, they're working out how they address it without praising a manager that they say has no idea what he's doing, doesn't know how to build a squad, can't develop, can't see the holes in his squad. It's like, well, if he's filling holes that you say are there, clearly he does. But you can't praise him on. That's what I love it. That might be a side note which nobody else even notices or cares about. But for me, it's legit brilliant to see these people go, I can't even praise the signing because it means the manager has done something he's meant to do, and that means I've got to praise him. And I don't like doing that because I have an agenda. But boys, I appreciate you all coming on, all of you having your say and getting your opinions out there. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you very, very much as always. Please, there's nearly 2,000 people tuning in. Please all hit that like button right about now. It's so important to us as a platform that we get that done. About 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to have Kieran McKenna on the show breaking down Liverpool's finances for us. So going through all the intricate detail of the income, the outgoings, why they're spending or why they're not spending. We're going to go through it in more detail. You'll be able to ask any questions you want relating to the financial elements as to why Liverpool are not spending money. Kieran Maguire is one of the leading, maybe the leading football finance expert in the United Kingdom. So if you want to educate yourself tonight and understand why things are happening, forget what the media says, forget what rivals say, forget what Joe Bloggs from Clacton is saying about the spending. Join us tonight and actually be educated by somebody that the clubs go to for advice. Remember that. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.